Hi everybody, I'm shooting this video with the topic of microbiome and weight loss because I have a large population of people that I work with individually, men and women both, that are over 50, and they are eating what they consider a very healthy diet and yet are struggling to see the fat loss that they're looking for. When it comes to women over 50, most of the time they will blame hormones for that, like progesterone and estrogen and the change that goes with menopause. But what if I was to tell you that it may be your microbiome? So, microbiome is your gut and the trillions of microorganisms that live there. Most of us know about this now because it's very much, in vogue and on top of, all the literature having to do with the immunity. But what I want you to educate you about in this video is that it is also now increasingly becoming related to weight loss. What we feed ourselves is what is going to feed our microbiome. And oftentimes, people's microbiomes will be thrown off, the diversity within them, because we have hundreds of thousands of individual microorganisms. We have several thousands of strains, different families of microorganisms that live in our gut. And there is not one right balance for everybody, but if we're feeding ones that are pathological, pathogens, and they override the good ones, then that can lead to a host of problems, GI problems, including irritable bowel, constipation and diarrhea, gas and distension and bloating, GERD and reflux, a whole host of GI disturbances. So we know about that when the microbiome gets thrown off. We also know that when the microbiome gets thrown off, that we will have immune deficiencies because, as we all know, based on the current science, the immune system is now being, like the computer that runs the show is coming from the balance of our microbiome. But what is not getting highlighted, or is just starting to get highlighted, is that our microbiome balance is also possibly majorly contributing to weight management. And so just to bring you up to speed, they've done mice experiments and also now humans experiments. And what they'll do is they'll take basically the fecal matter out of the large intestine, and in mice they'll take the fecal matter out of obese mice and implant it into the colons of thin mice. And in the mice experiments, they're controlling for what the mice eat. So the mice that were thin, that got the fecal transplant from the obese mice, are eating the same diet that they ate before they got the transplant. And yet, once they got the transplant, they become obese. Very interesting. So what is implied here is that the balance of our gut flora, when implanted into another, animal, creates a situation where weight management becomes more challenged. And there's weight gain that actually occurs even though the diet didn't change. Very interesting. So now they've also done this with humans. There's a couple of studies that are very famous now having to do with identical twins, one of which was overweight and one of which was normal weight, where they've done fecal transplants and found similar results. So the science is now showing that balance in our microflora is a significant contributor to weight management. So how does this apply to us? Those of us, like you, if you're listening, I'm assuming you're like my clients. My clients are not eating the ultra-pasteurized, ultra-processed foods. They're not living on fast food. They have controlled for white flour, white sugar, and those type diets, the SAD, Standard American Diet, is highly correlated with a dysbiosis in the colon that would contribute to weight gain because you're feeding the microorganisms that like the sugar and the flour, and they proliferate and overgrow and then create a situation where weight management becomes challenged because the flora is imbalanced and they're eating the food that we're eating too. So now most of my clients that I work with, and I'm assuming you who are watching this, you got that, you've made changes. And what I've witnessed in my clients is that they're eating healthy plant-based food, diets with whole food diets with plants and, organically raised animals or some combination thereof. But again, healthy foods, and yet are still struggling with the weight loss. And what I have found is that it's probably also, the reason why that's happening is because they also have a dysbiosis in their colon. a overgrowth of certain microorganisms that then crowd out the growth of others, because we need diversity within our colon. That's the key to the weight management, is diversity of all these microorganisms that live there. There isn't one right diversity balance, but the key is that if you get like monochrome, overgrowth of certain strains and the other ones get crowded out, good ones or bad ones, the lack of diversity is where the weight management becomes problematic. So I see in my clients that they're eating the same healthy foods over and over again. So for instance, somebody might be, I get my greens every day and I love spinach and I love broccoli and that's what I live on because I can eat the same thing over and over again, day in and day out. That's what I'll hear from clients, all right? But what happens there is even though those are very healthy foods and they have soluble and insoluble fiber, which I'm going to talk about in a second, they're eating the same ones over and over again and thereby not getting the diversity. So even if you're eating healthy, but you're not diversifying, this could be a weight management issue, causing you not to see the fat loss that you're after. And it has nothing to do with, hormone changes as we're aging, although that might be a secondary factor. It has to do with the diversification of the colon and what we're feeding. So what does that mean to us? What do I tell my clients to do? What I'm going to tell you to do to help minimize that as a weight loss barrier is we need two different types of fibers, okay? They both come from plants. One type is soluble fiber and one type is insoluble fiber. We need both those types of fibers, and then we need diversification within those two categories. So insoluble fibers come from these plants. You see the different colors? So there's 5 different colors on this chart, and you want to diversify. You want to eat, something purple. You want to eat something orange. You want to eat something green, and then you want to eat something different from the green. So you don't want to always have broccoli. You want to mix in some asparagus because the different colors, they represent different fibers, insoluble fiber types, as well as phytonutrients and minerals and vitamins. But we're talking about the fiber now for our gut. And so we need more diversity. My clients who are eating really healthy are still not getting that diversity. They're staying within certain, types or the ones that they like and not diversifying enough. So that's insoluble fiber, and we need that type of fiber. But then we also need what's called soluble fiber. And again, all fiber comes from plants. So the soluble fibers are listed here. These are going to be your oatmeal, your brown rice, basmati rice, black rice, your quinoa, starchy vegetables like corn and your sweet potatoes and purple potatoes and white potatoes, your sprouted grain breads. So these are the soluble fibers. Soluble fibers is gummy, and they pull the insoluble fiber, and the soluble fibers feed different microorganisms than the insoluble fibers. Both together help to move the fecal matter through your digestive system. But we need the diversity of these two different types of fibers and different foods that supply different types of those two main categories so that we then don't get like certain strains that override the others. We have the diversity within our colon, and that, my friends, is what's being found to be the key for weight management, for gut health, and for an optimal immune system. But I'm addressing the weight management and weight loss in this video because that's what most of the clients that I come to are coming to me for, weight loss and weight management. All right, so the key takeaway points here for you is eat your soluble fibers, eat your insoluble fibers, and the way I tell my clients to do it, because you don't want to buy a ton of produce and then have it go bad on you because you didn't eat it all. When you go grocery shopping for the week, you want to try and get 3 different colors. So you might get eggplant for purple, carrots for orange, and you might get mushrooms for white. And those are the vegetables that you're going to mix in, put them into omelets in the morning, have them in a salad, stir fry them up as part of a dinner, but you want to get the 3 different colors and then use those for the week. And then when you go back to the grocery store, you want to get 3 different colors. Now you might want to get red peppers, you want to get broccoli, and then you might want to get yellow squash. So now you're going to use those 3 and rotate those in your meals until you run out, and then go back to the store and get 3 different colors and 3 different vegetables within those colors. Same thing with the soluble fiber. You might cook up a bunch of black rice and have that as your starch, with your soluble fiber for that week. And then the next week, you might want to cook up some quinoa. And then the week after that, you might want to do a mix of potatoes or have, a variety of them, like maybe quinoa and potato one week, and then have sweet potato and corn another week for your soluble fibers. But the point I'm trying to make is you want to diversify so you're not eating the same ones over and over again, because that might be partly why you're blocked from seeing weight loss, even though you're eating healthy. And definitely if you're not eating healthy, you want to take heed to what I'm advising, because this is going to help, you'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, pulling out the bad foods and then diversifying the colon as well. The other key point I give to my clients is that you want to get 3 cups minimum of these type of fibers. So, might have 1 cup in your breakfast mixed in, like I said, with scrambled eggs or some cottage cheese. But you're getting that mix in your breakfast, and then have a cup for lunch and then 2 cups for dinner. That would be 4 cups. So I said a minimum of 3. A snack of like a mixed group of vegetables as part of your snack, like maybe little baby carrots and some cut up red peppers, but you see where I'm going, so that by the formula that I give my clients is you want at least 3 different colors a day, and you want to mix your soluble and your insoluble fibers every day, and you want to have a minimum of 3 cups of total fiber or these type of plants each day. All right. That criteria has been a solution where I have clients that have been blocked from seeing weight loss, and then we follow this for a couple weeks. Between 2 and 4 weeks is usually when the results show up, and now they're starting to see that scale go down again. Not to mention the fact that eating, with the criteria I just used when you're looking at the plant part of your meals, is going to increase your immunity and also, improve GI health if you're having any issues with that. All right, buddy. Thank you for watching. Please, go to my website, check out my resources that I have there. I would love to work with you one-on-one. You can sign up for my individual 1-hour consulting for wherever you are in the world, and we can take a look at what you're doing, and I can give you some clues as to what you might need to do from a behavioral medicine point of view, not supplements, medications, or surgeries, but like, what are you doing with your lifestyle that might be blocking you from getting the results you want, and what are some habit patterns that you can change to get the results you're after. All right, buddy, we got this. We got this health thing. We got this weight loss thing, and I'll see you soon in another video.